From the glow of St. Paul's number 1, welcome to another edition of Cabin Country. Give us the time and we'll take you out of the traffic and away from the levee. Let's find the place where the loons call out among the moonlit waves, where the wind sighs among the Norway pines. Pull up a dock chair, have a sip of your coffee, and get a line in the water. This is Cabin Country. Now here's Bjorn Lloydstead, and I'm Fudd Klugman with another Woodland Escape. Hey, welcome back to Cabin Country, and we're pretty excited tonight to have a guest in the studio. And of course, we wouldn't have allowed him if he didn't have a cool old tackle box, a treasure box full of some interesting lures.
And this treasure box goes back a ways. There's some
It's
vintage
even older
material here
than some of the things we found in Bjorn's box. And I did ring up our friend Steve O'Hearn to get some prices on it, and so we're going to have fun going through this box. But this is a longtime friend, Yogi, and he's grown up in the Lake Elmo area, grew up on a lake, Lake Jane. And so he did a lot of fishing when he was younger, fishing and swimming, he said. And when he saw our episode with the old lures, he said, "I've got some ancient lures," and I was all excited to see those.
Absolutely.
So
let's see what's there. Let's
have
a look. Let's dig through.
Well, let's not wait any longer. Yogi, are you here? Let's have Yogi join us. Let's get a chair, kid. Here you go, sir. Hey. Oh, there! Look at that.
That's a beauty.
Well, welcome. Thank
Glad
you.
to have you, Yogi.
Hey, thanks. Now, good to be here. First thing we should ask you is, can we get you some coffee?
I'm good. Coffee is not my biggie.
What?
Yeah.
No coffee.
No coffee. Sorry.
Well, I don't know about that.
So you want me to leave?
Well, no, I didn't.
No.
Okay.
No, we're glad you're here.
Glad to have you.
Glad you're here.
Absolutely.
And I want to say right away, too, I really do like s'mores.
What?
Yeah. I mean, I can't believe that you guys don't.
Wow.
2 strikes here. I don't know.
You've got a tackle box.
Yeah, that's a tackle box here.
Okay.
That's a good thing.
That is a good thing.
So, I'm not going to lie, Yogi, I had a very similar tackle box
Did
as a
you?
young man. And if I'm not mistaken, it said somewhere on here, Plano, Texas.
I think so.
Plastic, the lock on the front, the latch, and it looks very familiar. Was it a floater?
That I don't even know. I never dropped
all
it in to
right,
find
yeah.
out.
I did as a
Did you?
young man because I'm a spaz,
I-
and it floated, which was a good thing because then it was up to me, my dad, and a fishing net to get my tackle box back in the boat.
So did you need a life preserver, or did you just take the tackle box with you then?
I just took the tackle box. I figured if the boat goes over, I'm just going to hang onto that thing like grim death.
Great idea.
Propel myself back in, but it looked extremely similar. A little more flat, a little more rectangular. This has kind of a nice, kind of mid-60s angular look. It's roundish. Streamlined,
Nice color.
if you
I
will.
like
Streamlined.
this color. I don't know.
That's right.
It's very similar to that 1958 Johnson 5.5.
Absolutely. The housing we would see on an old vintage Johnson outboard.
The color
Beautiful.
of the... What would you say? Do you remember when you got this particular box? Or was it your dad's? Or
No, that was mine. It probably, it probably dates back to when I was about 7 or 8 years old, I would imagine.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
About 30 years ago.
Absolutely.
40 years ago.
I was going to say, was that about
50 years ago.
1924?
Well, no.
No.
We won't get into that.
But so you grew up on or very close to Lake Jane. Is that where you fished most of the time?
Most of the time right there, yes. We lived right on Lake Jane, and it wasn't a very big lake, but so, you could almost swim across the lake.
Right.
Oh, nice.
But yes, it was a great bass fishing lake, northern, a lot of sunnies, mostly about 3 inches long.
Absolutely.
That, they'd steal the bait before you even almost got it in the water.
As I recall, kind of a bloodthirsty sunny as well. I had a previous episode. I was helping a friend's father put in a dock on Lake Olson,
Oh, okay.
which I believe is part of that.
It's a tri-lake area.
3-lake chain,
Yes.
Olson to Montreville and Jane.
That is
we
correct.
were putting in an early June dock. They just got in the house, and I was helping him put out the dock. And
I think I knew June. I'm not sure if maybe she was on to Montreville. So.
Yeah.
Oh,
June.
you meant the. Oh, go ahead.
Yes, Cleveland. Barbara Billingsley. Putting in a dock, and all of a sudden he lets out this war whoop, and he's bleeding. off the chest. And I said, what in the world? And he had just been targeted by one of the sunfish and taken a bite out of his chest.
I see.
In fact, he said, that son of a gun just bit me right on the nipple.
Yep.
At which point I said, thank God for rash guards.
Yeah.
Anyway, so some savage sunnies.
Oh, yeah.
Schools, they'll take you down to the skeleton project. Get blood in the water. Forget it, it's all over. Panfish. You were a bass fisherman on Lake Jane.
I really like bass fishing, yes.
Okay, and they were plentiful.
They were. But, even the days that you were out there fishing, if it was a nice day, just sitting there casting with the lure for a couple of hours, even if nothing bit,
Right.
it was just
Didn't matter.
a wonderful day.
Didn't matter
Wonderful
watching the sun reflect off the waves.
Exactly.
Now, were you a boat fisherman, Yogi, or were you dock?
Mainly boat
Okay.
fishermen. Yeah.
What was the vessel you were?
Oh boy, we had, I want to say it was a Lumacraft. No, maybe not. I don't know.
Sure.
Here again, it's been too long. And talk about the size of the motor. I think we had like a, because you were talking about a 9.9.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think we had about a 3.5.
Sure.
Wow.
Sure.
And I think it was an Evinrude. If I remember right, too,
Yes,
so.
indeed.
Well, it wasn't a big lake. You didn't need to go too
That's
fast,
true.
too far.
Right.
Yeah.
Kind of.
I most of the time, used the oars.
Oh,
I wasn't
Sure.
a big motor
Sure.
person anyway, so.
keep fit.
Old school.
Yeah.
This, a drum roll might be in order, and I'm sure Don will set us up at some point, but here we go. Oh my.
Here we go. Look at this.
Oh my.
It's the tackle box. Let's.
And let's open it up.
Oh my gosh! Look at that.
Ah, yes. Old lures.
Smells moldy.
I love it.
All right.
It's good stuff.
Sit in the crawl space for a while, but that's all right. We've got a way to deal with mold, which we'll figure out later.
to in a
I guess I
minute,
can
yeah.
turn this off now, but here we go.
It's a beaut.
Now, as I mentioned, I think I mentioned that I talked to Steve O'Hearn. In fact, here is Steve right here. I don't know if we'll have to get a close-up of him. But here's Steve at the Sportsman's Show that Bjorn
bet.
and I were at. And I sent him some pictures of some of these lures to get an idea of how much some of them would
Right.
cost.
What kind of a treasure trove Yogi's
So
sitting on?
I alone know the value
Oh my.
of some of these
Do
lures.
we get
So
to venture a guess?
You're gonna guess,
Oh, boy.
and a couple of these we'll hear from Steve himself what they were actually worth.
I love it.
Where should we, Steve? You can live right here, Steve, for now. Well, all right, we'll just put him right there in the center.
There he is.
He's here with
Thanks
us
for joining us,
in
Steve.
spirit.
Coffee.
Who would like to? Would you like to just pick one and see? Just grab something.
Just
in-
grab one. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's grab this one.
Oh, okay. Now that's one. That's a lazy. That's a lazy Ike.
Is it
The
lazy
original-
Ike? Okay.
Lazy
it's
eye.
one that's got a lot of mold on it, and it's one I didn't even ask Steve about because I knew what he would say.
Well, great. I'm glad that I pulled that out. So just off to a good
It's the first
start.
one. Yeah, where we go.
No one
There it is. We have no idea. Who
Well,
cares? Moving on to the
I
next.
would imagine.
Lazy eye. Lazy eye.
Maybe I should pick the. No, I'm just kidding.
And to tell you how up on fishing I am, maybe at one time I knew all the names of these, but other than knowing that this is a bobber,
Yes.
I wouldn't remember that was even a lazy Ike. So I'm
Lazy
just
Ike.
kind of.
There it is. Grab away.
The first thing I saw when you first showed me your box was this box of some inline spoons that look pretty darn old. This old one here has the patent date of 1874 on it.
1874.
1874. It's amazing.
Wow.
Okay, so that was the first thing that Steve gave a price on. So, what do you guys think each of those is worth? They're inline Fluger spinner spoons.
Sort of like a forerunner of the Meps.
Yeah, they kind of look like Meps. They got
Big
feathers on the
Meps.
neck.
That's a big Meps you got there. I'm gonna ballpark it here. $25 a piece.
$25 a piece. Okay.
Yogi, any thoughts?
I wasn't going to go quite that high. I was thinking more around the 20 mark.
20. Double sawbuck. 20 spot.
So 20 a piece, like all of equal value, not this one that's.
Yeah, sure.
Let's give Steve a call and see what.
Steve O'Hearn, the voice.
Actually, it's pre-recorded, but here we go. Let's see if we can hear what
I'm
Steve has to
curious.
say.
I think I might have hit patered here.
Those spinners, those inline spinners, the fluted spoons, those are called, and those are, $2-3 a piece. The ones you have. There are good ones of those, don't get me wrong. if you get lucky, $5 for the one that says 1874 on it.
$5.
Things are so common there in like every old tackle box, just to tell you.
Okay. All right.
Those are good.
Okay.
Those are
Hey, wait, hold up.
1917
Easy, Steve.
Steve.
Hold on now. Easy, fella.
Wait till we're ready for the next one here. Sorry.
I have to. I'm noticing on this spoon. Okay, Fluger. Fluted bait. Bulldog quality. Oh. So, did you catch any bulldogs?
That I did not.
French
but if I would have
or
known that,
regular
that probably would have
English
dropped
brindle?
the price down
Yeah.
a little bit, I think. Yeah.
Bulldog quality, $1.50, I think, maybe. But I'm surprised. And yet, I guess not. If every vintage tackle box is rolling in with these fluted.
You wonder how many of those were
The
actually
fluted
made.
Fluger. It's not
Yeah,
easy to say
so-
without spitting.
Now, in this same plastic box were these two things. Now, they're two different sizes of
European
these.
torture device.
And I could see on the top here, it was like GOT par, and the patent on these is like 1917.
1917.
And Steve,
US
when he looked at the
enters World
picture of
War
those,
I.
said that that's how old these actually are, 1917.
Wow.
And
My grandfather was in France at that point.
they are called the par safety frog hook. We're going to use Spotty the Wonder Frog to demonstrate how they kind of hook the frog in the mouth, and then put the frog with his nose in this way.
Frog is currently yelling, "Fud!
Knock it up! What are you doing here?" And
Easy with it!
well,
Hind end!"
it's just kind of crazy. The par safety frog hook,
From 1917.
1917, for use on real frogs. And
Torture device.
how much do you think each one of those are?
From 1917.
1917.
United
I'll
States
queue up
entry into
Steve.
the Great War, the First World War.
And definitely they're going to be two different prices because of the size difference.
I would
and,
guess.
And the size of the
I would
frog
guess.
that you had to use.
So, out of your box here, Yogi, I get the feeling you should take the first
Should
shot
I?
here.
Well, I'm going to shoot for the larger one being more expensive, and I think it's probably at least $40 for that.
Okay.
And I think the smaller one, 25.
Okay. 40, 25. I don't know, after that boom price we got of $5 to $3 on these, I'm a little concerned, but a really unique offering here. You're using a live bait, you're keeping it kind of alive, if somewhat gored, and moving. I'm gonna up you one. I'm gonna say 50 and maybe 30. 50 and 30. I've been a lousy gambler my whole life. So I'm just going to throw that out there.
All right. Well, let's ask the expert, Steve.
Okay,
O'Hearn,
Let's make sure I've got
tell
it all
us
queued up here.
the
Ready?
truth.
Those are good. Those are 1917 Joseph Parr out of St. Paul, Minnesota, and he has a patent
Local
on it.
boy.
I'd say they're worth $50 each
Hey.
nowadays. They only were $45, but hooks have kind of gone up, so I would say those are $100. If you had the box, you'd have $300
You have the box?
to $500.
Oh, that's just a plastic.
So those are pretty
Because that's
rare.
not the real box.
Well, there you go. So you guys were pretty close on that
Not
one. huh?
bad.
Yeah,
Not
you guys
bad.
50 on the one.
I
so,
did.
So there you go.
But I owe you 5 or a
There we
side,
go.
or side
There
bet.
we go. There we go.
I think we need to put another log on the fire break. So hang on. We're gonna fill our coffees. We've got more lures to go. So hang on. Watch the spinning chimps if Don adds those.
I would hope.
We'll be right back.
Too much monkey business.
Too much monkey business. Too much monkey business. Too much monkey business. Too much monkey business. Too much monkey business.
Back about 5 years ago, we came up with the idea of using a snapping turtle to find and recover bodies. You see, snappers got an uncanny sense of smell. You put them in a lake, they'll go straight to a dead body. And unfortunately, from time to time, we've got dead bodies we need to recover. We got ourselves a little turtle, captured and tagged a small snapper, called him Jack, put a radio transmitter on him. Now, anytime we would lose a body and need to go and recover, we would simply put Jack in the water and follow him directly to the body. and it worked out pretty slick. Then one day we're out here at Big Lake and lost him. Disappeared right off the tracking device. A couple weeks later, some swimmers found washed up on shore the radio transmitter, so haven't seen him since. So about 2 weeks ago, Skip Lebowski, he gone missing out here on the lake, suspected drowning. We didn't have Jack around, so we had to do a good old-fashioned scuba search. I'm certified search and rescue and search and recovery. So I was out in about 25, 30 feet of water right out here, swimming a standard grid formation, and that's when I looked up and saw a shadow. It was a big shadow. And there should not be anything that big in this lake. Startled me at first, and then I recovered, realized it was just a turtle. Oh, shit! Biggest dang turtle I've ever seen. So I started following him, and the turtle started swimming in here towards shore. As I got closer, I realized that this was probably Jack. Jack must have been weighing in about 200, 225 pounds. As I approached him, noticed that he had what was left of Skip in his mouth, in his jaws. And I realized this was going to be a fight, but that was evidence, and I needed to get a hold of it. So proceeded to try to remove the evidence from his mouth, and that's when Jack attacked me. We started struggling here. He started dragging me out into deeper water. Get out about 20 feet is when he started doing the turtle death roll. He took me under pretty deep. Didn't think I was going to make it. Pretty scary. Don't know what happened then. Next thing I know, I got the Skip's hand in my hand, and Jack's disappearing into the depths. I'm swimming like heck for shore, and as fast as I could go. So make it into shore, and it's the last we've seen of Jack. But he's out here somewhere in this lake. We're stepping up patrols. We're doing everything we can to keep the public safe, because this is one big turtle. And this isn't the Jack we knew. This is Jack the Ripper, and he's mean.
I'm not gonna kid you, Yogi. I was, as a young guy, with a very active imagination. I kept seeing these northern pike my dad would pull out of Daggett Lake.
Okay.
And that was my swimming lake. I mean, right off the dock. And I kept thinking, one of those things is gonna get a hold of me, and I'm not gonna be happy. Mm-hmm. You know, or that dreaded giant snapping turtle that every lake seemed to have.
Exactly. I was just going to say that.
See him from time to time. There he was, that head about that big, just coming up out of the water, and you thought, oh, let's go for a swim. Or not. Yeah.
Ah, yes.
Very, very worried. Jack the Ripper.
We would have snappers that would come up on in our lawn, and we'd
Right.
catch them.
Sure.
And have them grab onto a stick
Broom
or
handle or
and
something.
slice that head off, hang them up. We'd
Right.
cut them up and make turtle soup.
Looking for a
That's-
tempting treat?
That was a past
So you've
episode.
had snapping turtle soup?
Oh yeah.
What did it taste like?
Great. Tastes just like chicken.
A big, kind of rubbery chicken that's
That's it.
been living on dead stuff at the bottom of a lake.
Wow.
You can imagine that kind of a chicken. They're all the rage in French markets.
Oh my gosh.
Did you nail it to a tree upside down and let the blood drain out?
Yes, we did. Yeah.
And then you pry the carapace off,
Yep.
and then it's the butchery begins.
Exactly.
I'm told too, a big favorite is if you can find a female full of underdeveloped eggs, that becomes kind of a thrill in its own right.
Wow.
The only thing that we found eggs, but we would bring them in the house and
Yeah.
bury them and let them hatch, and
Sure.
would have a dozen or more
Tiny
little
snapping
snapping
turtles.
Pet snapping turtles.
Yeah, it's great.
All on Lake Jane, Minnesota.
That's right.
Wow. That's
What did you do with them?
just eventually let them go.
Sure,
So,
sure. Let 'em- You
so
didn't like
I guess for
raise
the
them in a
one-
pen for.
Well, exactly.
We're gonna eat this one
And
tomorrow.
at
and
least,
have-
yeah, at least for the one that we killed, at least we
Turtle
resupplied the lake with the snappers.
These
after.
brats are interesting. What is this? Snapper. Tastes just like chicken, doesn't it?
Yeah, there's a little snap to this.
Quite. Hey.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. The brat bit me back.
Well, let's see.
Back into the box goes Fudd.
Here we go.
What do you got there, Fudd?
You know, Steve always makes this big deal about things left in packages. I mean, that seems
Indeed.
to be all the rage.
You bet.
I mean, so we do have a little envelope package here, which has like the Canadian Bait Company. It's like this round, looks like a big hoop earring or a big earring, but it's a big brass Canadian Baits Incorporated, patented in Minneapolis. But apparently they caught a lot of fish, and it even comes with, you know, some instructions, a nice nifty little photo, and a poster on the back that shows like all these guys. Look at all the fish you can catch in Canada. And it even says, no wonder a well-known outdoor editor suggests a law restricting use of the Canadian spoon to 1 hour's fishing in the morning and 1 hour in the afternoon.
You don't want to empty the lake.
But yeah, Steve, well, he of course knew the price of that and had a little interesting comment on that. But before we see what Steve says, what do you guys think? The Canadian spoon.
Well, can I add something to that too?
yeah.
I actually abided by that rule.
Oh, you did buy it.
No, abided.
Oh, you abided by it.
abided.
Only fish for an hour.
I probably bought that
You
too.
bided.
Abided it.
I buyed it. Oh, sorry.
It's good. I like it. Good.
I abided by that rule as far as only 1 hour or 2 hours a day is what it said. But for a different reason is that never caught anything for me. I think with the photos that were on that slip, I think that the lakes were so full of fish that this thing actually just hooked the fish as
By accident.
Yes, exactly.
Well, I looked at it and thought, wow, Grandma's earring with a huge hook on it.
Wow.
It was fun to cast this.
I bet there's a lot of weight to that.
There is.
And it's, not all that aerodynamic. So even casting it, you'd feel like you had something on the
Yeah,
line.
that's right.
We're thinking prices.
Yeah, what do you guys think for the price?
And being that we had the little envelope with it and everything like that,
Poster,
I would guess at least $7.50.
$7.50. I'm going to suggest, with the packaging, I'm going to say 15.
15?
15 simoleon, 15 Ironmen,
All right.
a 10 and a 5.
I don't think Bjorn learned from his trip to the sportsman show that everything's about $5 or. Oh,
Well,
I-
I'm daring to dream here.
well, that's good. Actually, that's good. It's more
I can
fun that way.
see my gold tooth in that. Look at that.
I mean, what fun would it be to just say everything is $5?
Caught
But
Bjorn.
let's see what Steve said.
Steve
$6
over.
in the thing.
$6.
Average retail $6 at a show.
$6.
My buddy found a whole barn full of them. They got so many fish, they tried outlawing the lure. They went up to Canada with them things and tried them out, and of course they cost fish because you could have thrown a cigarette butt in there and done something up in Canada. So then he used that as an advertising gimmick.
There you go, $6, and I really like that. There were so many fish in Canada that you could have used a cigarette butt.
Well, I know what I'm going to try this spring.
A
Up
cigarette
at
butt?
the Gull River. I'm gonna put some kind of a cigarette butt on there, or a cigar
Cigar
stub.
Let's not just throw them in the fire. Let's see.
Wow.
Let's cast them out. Although
Pull
it
up a
isn't-
bass, smoking a big stogie. yeah. Can I give you a light, sir?
Wow.
Wow. Keep that ash cone going underwater. I don't know how you do it. That's amazing.
All right, let's see what
That
else we
fish
got
was
here.
blowing smoke rings.
Okay.
Unbelievable.
This is a fun one.
The
This
rat.
is- you know what this is called, Yo?
Looks like the mouse. I don't remember.
The
what it
paw mouse.
was. Oh, the pawpaw mouse. that's right.
mouse.
Paw mouse. I forgot who actually makes it, but
Granny Clampett.
there you go. It's pretty realistic.
Beautiful. And it's got
Looking.
the kind of under the chin
Yeah.
spoon, so it's gonna wobble just like a mouse trying to stay afloat on a
Right.
late Jane afternoon. Did
But,
you catch anything on the mouse, Yogi?
I don't recall if I did or not.
Catch a cold?
Yeah, it could have been.
It's got this little kind of wire tail. It's
And again, it was one of these things that was fun to cast because
Yeah.
it kind of went out, but then like you say, it did kind of
weird
do this
shimmy
weird,
shape
yeah,
coming back
exactly,
in.
yes.
You would think that would attract fish.
You would think so,
You know,
unless it scared them away.
well,
Here comes the mouse!
I made my own mouse.
mice.
Didn't look like that, but never caught anything on it. But apparently mice, like frogs and
Chipmunks.
chipmunks that we're going to find out, apparently are a popular. I never knew that rodents were so popular. But let's see. Oh, you haven't guessed yet. What price tag?
Yeah, it's your first
My
move.
shot.
Yeah.
It's fuzzy. Very realistic. Got
was
trapped a few in the garage that looked similar. I'm gonna get way out on a limb here and take that lesson from the Sportsman Show. I'm gonna guess $3.50.
$3.50.
$3.50, yeah.
Well, you're vermin,
Yeah, well, yeah, I don't know. There he is. You should do like the dog show, put the tail up.
Are we clean here? Are the teeth? All right. Yeah. Uh-huh. Okay, let's take him out and run a few circles for us.
Yog, what do you think?
Well, I don't think that $3.50 mark is too far off. The $5, shot seems to be a real common thing. So I'm going to go 5.
It's 5 spot.
Yeah.
5 spot. Well,
Steve?
all right. And Steve, what do you say about the pawpaw?
The Avenue of Broken Dreams. Here we come.
Pawpaw mouse, 10 to 20 bucks. 25 probably more reasonable. I used to sell them for 40 bucks. Just to
Get up my wallet right now.
Whoa.
Things were good.
$25.
Wow.
25 simoleon.
And
Wow.
I forget there's a well-known company that made the pawpaw, and forgive me for not knowing. Some of the diehards out there might know that. Well, of course, that's the Luger. Doesn't say on there. Anyway, so yeah, that was more
Maybe
than I
it was
expected.
Papa. I don't know.
I just want to know if it was a bad thing that I pulled out my wallet and a huge piece of lint came out.
Oh.
right?
How much is that worth? $5.
That's it. eBay, $10. Yeah.
Some of that lint is worth lots of money, depending on the color.
Well, I've got plenty of lint. I don't have any money.
Wow.
I'd
all
like
right.
to barter. I've got this wad of lint.
The Hedden Crazy Crawler says
Crazy
it right
Crawler.
on the bottom there, under its chin.
C's or
chin.
K's on that? Crazy crawler. What?
Yeah, it's actually got C's.
Oh,
Crazy Crawler.
passed our spelling test.
And this is just one of my favorites because it just looks cool. All the
That action.
metal here and the red and
Yes.
white. You can tell it's wooden body. It's not plastic.
A couple of trebles or a single?
Two trebles.
I like that kind of silvery, almost scaling on the back.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of fun.
Yeah, we'll make sure to.
A lot of action on that.
Lot of movement on that.
Yeah, without a doubt. You used this.
I have used that.
Caught any bass on it?
Again, I would probably tell you it really looked pretty going through the water.
And you didn't catch much.
No.
But it was so much fun just to
Maybe
watch.
it has to do something with the person that was actually casting
angler.
it. Yes.
The complete
Who knows?
angler.
I mean, we won't get into that.
I'm
Well, what's the-
I'm
what's
gonna get nuts here. I'm gonna throw out a total right here, right now.
Okay.
Wood. A lot of mechanical stuff going on. A beautiful paint job. It's in good shape. It looks like it's probably a 50s.
No box though.
No box.
Yeah, so
I'm gonna ignore the lack of cardboard. I'm gonna go 30.
Oh wow.
$30. Okay.
Yeah.
30. But go big or go home.
Okay.
That's
Well, I'm gonna hang around the $10 mark. I think.
Okay.
all right. Sawbill versus 30.
The
Let's see.
Hedden Crazy Crawler.
And in that shape and condition and what you have for hardware on it, that's probably 10 to 15 bucks at the most. And there are good ones of them worth thousands of dollars,
Oh.
but you got to have the
Not
right
yours.
ones and the right color.
Because,
And then there's a couple that are called chipmunk. They got white spots on them. Well, those are chipmunk crazy crawlers,
Now, hold
and those are 2 to 500.
Hold on.
$200 to $500.
Fud.
if that was a chipmunk.
Tell the tale.
So if I put a few spots on there,
And
Well,
maybe
I don't
some
know.
fuzz. I'll find that lint. with
Expert
glue
could
gun.
find that. Well, it's funny that he mentions a chipmunk because in a past show or two, I've mentioned that I had a Rapala, like this. Well, it didn't have the segmented body, just I had a Rapala like this that was designed like a chipmunk. In fact, I even have a picture of it right here.
Look at that.
Here we go. Sorry, don't mean to cover your face, yo.
That's
We'll
a
cover
beaut.
Steve up. Sorry, Steve. That's a
Rapala chipmunk.
yeah. Wait a minute, not Rapala, but what are we talking about?
Arbogast?
Jitterbug. The Arbogast chipmunk. And I bought mine for 10 cents at a garage sale.
10 cents.
And I did my own research on it, and Steve backed it up. I only found that it was worth about $16, like on eBay, which is still quite a bit of money. But I thought, what is the word? I never caught a thing with my chipmunk. It skated across the water, the surface of the water, real nice, and it was fun. But of course, I didn't have the patience to go more than 2 or 3 casts with it. And you're out of here. And apparently, I was so upset, I got rid of it altogether, so I don't have to look at just the picture. But
The proper chipmunk, you'd had $300.
and if this hadn't was designed like a chipmunk, it would have been $2,500.
Especially if you had the cardboard.
But even though we think this is beautiful, 10 to 15, no box. There you go. Two things that I had Steve comment on were things that aren't lures, but cool things that you find in boxes. Let's find. In fact, this has a box.
My goodness.
The U-Fibber, U-F-I-B-B-R, and it's very much like a fisherman's D-lyre. We found one of those in Bjorn's box.
Be seen. You fibber.
And it's a multi-tool thing. That
Kind of an insult, really. You fibber?
right?
No.
Yeah.
No.
I'm not fibbing it. The proof is right here. This fish was that long. Yeah,
Wow.
wow. It's a silver.
Burbot.
I gotta be careful with this.
Yield pub.
You're supposed to oil this every once in a while. I
Really?
don't know if it has. And I don't know if you knew this, Yog, but it opens up, and there are 2 folded Band-Aids in there, unopened,
Ooh.
and 2 little vials for things like iodine.
So if you grabbed that perch wrong and it stuck you,
Yes.
or you grabbed the front end of that channel cat and it stuck you, now you've got field medicine. There's a weight
Yeah.
measure on there.
I don't know where you find the scale. I know that here's the hook that you hook it on its mouth, and I can tell there's a spring. Oh,
That's
right
on the side.
Yeah.
Right on the side.
Oh yeah,
Right there.
Oh, there we go.
Yep.
Look at that. How many LBS? But what do you guys say? Or price on that with the box?
With the box. Now that throws a whole new wrinkle.
It really does. I mean, it could be $6.
You don't, you never
I
know.
don't have a lot of confidence in some of this stuff. I mean, you would think that the amount of material and, it's,
No rust, no mold.
yeah, the box, maybe it
Still
should be $12.
$12. I'm a gambler. A lousy gambler, but I'm a gambler nonetheless. $50.
$50.
$50. Half of a century note. Does Steve want to chime in on this, or?
Oh, you know what? I guess I don't have Steve chiming in on
Uh-oh.
that, but I do have it written down. I took copious notes, trying to hide the amount from prying eyes here. The U-Fibber is from the 1950s, and he values it at $25.
Oh, I was halfway there. Halfway
And
there.
I was only,
You undersold
I
yourself.
was halfway the other way.
Correct.
12, right? Oh, it's-
Yep. Yep.
So it's interesting. You just never know. There isn't a set pattern. Just because it has a box doesn't matter. But
Just remember my dad's old comment. Well, it's worth $25. If you can find someone who'll pay it.
Yeah, that's right.
if you're lucky, Steve would say. I think I do have Steve commenting on this cool thing. This like bronze box. The Ansonia Clock Company, Sunwatch, dated 1921.
One.
Wow.
Good
And
Lord, the
this
Great
was-
Gatsby.
It was used by Boy Scouts in the 1920s.
Now, were you ever a scout?
I never was.
And the cool thing is
4-H. 4-H is my big deal. Yeah.
so it has a little compass on the bottom here, but what's up here is like a sundial. So this, look at that. You pull up.
Wow. What's nice about this is you get the latitudes for all these various American cities. So if you're fishing in Atlanta or even Wichita, Kansas, you know your latitude.
Wow.
Minneapolis, 45 degrees.
It's all about the positioning of the sun. And if you're a good Boy Scout,
Or
that's
a
all you
4-H'er.
need. Or a 4-H'er, yes. You just hold it up and look at,
What
So-
if you're just the typical angler who's about 5 cans deep into the Schmidt Scenic collection?
I don't know. You just say, "Look at this cool thing.
fun.
That's neat." What time is that?
Oh my God.
Can you text on this thing? I don't know. Oh, darn it.
What's it taste like?
But that is, what price would you give that?
And you know that, being that this works,
Yeah, that you could pull this up, right? Well, if the sun's out, it works.
Wow.
Hey,
you know, I $75, I would say.
$75.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stick
You don't
with-
think it's that much?
Oh,
You were gonna go like about 300, weren't you?
yeah.
Because you're a gambling kind of a guy.
I might take $250. I have $50.
50.
$50.
Well, here's what Steve had to say about that.
That thing's cool as heck. That thing's old as the hill, and I think it's a navigational thing. I mean, if I seen that laying at one of my estate sales, I'd put 50 or $60 on just looking at it.
Uh-huh.
50
No,
or
not the
60.
Paul. 50 or 60 bucks. Now, I did read online that it can get up to as high as like 175. 50 to 175 for that. There's plenty of them out there, and some in better condition, but at least he didn't say, well, yours isn't worth anything. Some of them are worth. The only other thing that was kind of noteworthy to me, now, when Bjorn and I went to the Sportsman's Show and looked at Steve's unbelievable array of all of his old stuff,
Anything you can imagine.
I mean, it's just like to set that up must have taken him hours, you know?
Right.
There was a box filled with these red-eyed spoon.
100 red-eyed spoons.
He did say that this one is unique because the texture of the metal is kind of rippled on here. All of his were like smooth, like more like this spoon here, which we've seen in Bjorn's box. This kind of, I can't remember what it's called, but so this one I thought was worth guessing on how much it might be as well.
And it's weedless.
Oh, that's right. Got the weedless wiring going
You're
on.
not going to haul in a salad.
Yeah, well, if you're good, right?
Right.
But what do you gentlemen? Oh, well, there is another thing in here. There's one or two other things on here. But what about this red-eyed spoon with
the red-eyed spoon with the texture, the rippling texture, the weedless hook. Yogi?
What are you gonna say?
I'm gonna say $8.
$8. I think because of the uniqueness of the texturing on that and the weedless factor, I'm gonna go 15.
Well, Steve said that it's called a Cortland red-eyed spoon. I think the Cortland is the company that made it, and he said they usually bring in $3 to $5. But because of the metal and the shape, he said more like $10 for this one.
I oversold.
So you guys were, did you say 8?
I said 8.
So 8 and 10. You were.
a little closer than I was.
Well, no,
15.
but we're still.
Had that googly-eyed kind
It's pretty cool.
of thing. It's not bad.
Steve says he has one without the eyes, but so that's kind of unique, you know.
Well, that'd only be $1.
Not $500, but you know. The other thing too is this nice little
Some
high
packaging.
Hiawatha spinner. It's on the card,
That's big.
so that was
Original
also
packaging.
a pretty big thing. And he didn't hesitate to tell me what that was worth. What do you guys think? It's a tiny little spinner. You'd think, well, how much can a little spinner
Come
be?
on,
That's
but it's
true.
got the vintage card.
But it's got the card on
People
there.
love the vintage packaging.
I'd
The art of advertising.
I'd like to see how that card and the spinner both works in the water, though.
The spinner doesn't catch much. The card, very popular with sauger.
Probably have to be patient
Can't-
while the fish is reading.
Can't resist
What did he say that?
taste of orange cardboard.
It's I'll go $10.
It's got packaging, 25.
Well, I oversold it. He said $5 without hesitation.
Okay.
$5, which was
You
even
really
more than
did. You had me going there.
I know.
thought,
I kind of have cheated, you know. I've said it, been misguiding you, but one
Figure that out.
last thing before we just give the general cost of the box. Even though there's much more in here.
Well, we've got to demold a couple of.
That's right. We'll get to
items.
that shortly. But I like this. You know, everybody's got like an old eagle claw hook box.
Yes. Yes.
And I saw that this one is dated 1935.
Wow.
So I took a picture of that and sent that to Steve. And let's see if I wrote that down. Oh, well, I just think he said $1. So I was like, come on, it's the card. And, you know.
1930 something.
Look at that. Well, that's all right.
Is your dollar's worth of 1930.
But, so, there's a pretty interesting mix of stuff you've got there. There's more in here.
This, I'm gonna go back to my youth and wanting to buy
Oh yeah, a million of
bulk.
little fly poppers.
And we'd get these catalogs in the mail. It'd be this time of year, and I'd be sick of running around the house. My dad was sick of me running around the house. We'd get these catalogs. Now this one's interesting because there's no hook whatsoever, which I think makes fishing that much more difficult.
Real challenging.
Really challenging. If you can somehow manage to I grabbed it.
That's where you need to go to Canada where they bite on cigarette
Absolutely.
butts.
Cigarette butt, a hookless hula popper,
They'll
but these
come
little
quick.
hula poppers, and I'd always con my dad into, hey, I'll fish with you. I'll even sit still in the boat, not even bring comic books, if we buy me more tackle. And for about $5, he'd get like 30 of these. Lots of different colors. And those were nice because they even came with hooks.
Oh, right.
And I'd put Colonel Corn on the hook
Oh, okay.
and stand on the longest dock on our little old fishing resort chain and get into a school of sunnies. And man, you'd be catching sunfish all day long. They loved it.
I think
The hook helps.
the thing that I used probably 90% of the time when I fished,
The rubber worm.
oh yeah, that was my favorite, and it definitely caught fish all the time.
It did.
Oh, yep.
What?
Well, I can tell you've
And the
got
bass, mainly,
bass.
but northern
Several of
minnows.
them in here.
Oh, exactly.
Spinner out in
Because
front of
after
that.
a few things, I mean, they just kind of chewed that worm away, so you
Yeah.
kind of switch it up.
Well, the bulk of the things we looked at came to a total of about $290.
Wow. You
Does
did
that
better
include
than
the
me.
box too?
It doesn't include the box, so
Did he have a price tag on the box?
I didn't ask him about that. I forgot.
It's
Sorry
a
about
Plano, Texas plastic
that. I know.
hatch.
I could have. Yeah,
Probably
I'd give you
floats.
$5.
$5 or $6.
Put like a Evinrude one horse on it. You could send the small children out.
Right. Hang on to this.
Good luck to you. God bless you. What do we think, Fudd, Yogi, about maybe running Steve's solution to the mold problem?
Yeah,
Up the
let's-
flagpole. See if anybody's
Let's
solution.
take a break and kind of clear this
Through
out.
the decks.
And we'll
We're
get
gonna
ready to
bust out
apply-
the patented
good.
Steve
Interesting.
O'Hearn
Demolding.
molding technique. That'll
Right.
be next here on Cabin Country.
Yeah. Well, let's
We'll give
clear
it a
this up
run.
and get that ready.
And
We'll be
fill
right
your
back.
cup. We'll be right back with our guest Yogi. The O'Hearn technique.
I'll be here.
Welcome back to Cabin Country. My name's Bjorn Lloydstad. I'm joined here by Fudd Klugman.
Hey there.
How are you, Fudd?
Very well.
This is a quick service we're going to offer on a regular basis here on Cabin Country. This is safety tip number 1, how not to get lost in the woods. And I think the critical thing here is letting others know where you are.
Oh, yes.
One thing we all know is way out in the great north woods, sometimes you lose your phone signal. And then it becomes a question of, now what?
Then you're scared, you're frightened, and panic may set in unless you're prepared.
Time to keep a cool head and think about the tools you have at hand. So here's an old film Fudd and I made about getting lost in the woods, kind of referencing a trip I'd been on. It was a deer spotting trip, and it kind of went afoul. So Don, if you can let it rip. Started off real nice.
Beautiful day.
Looking for tracks and where might we have some luck later on when the sun sets. Walking down this dirt trail, and I find evidence of the mighty whitetail. Good place to remember. And then I remember, I don't know where I am. Neither do my compadres. I start to kind of lose my cool here, Fudd.
Oh, that's
I'm
right.
falling apart.
Panic sets in.
I'm panicking, man. And then I realized, wait a minute. Every good woodsman has some tools. Now, there's no cell phone availability here, but I do have a pocket mirror. And I hear a light plane. Not completely out of civilization here. I'm going to get his attention. Start flashing that pilot. I realize he's doing circles. Now he sees me, but does he? So I've got to really make my presence felt. And oh boy, do I.
Oh, that's right, yes.
Wow.
It kind
there
of
we go.
conveys to the pilot exactly what your circumstances here.
Man is clearly in danger. He's losing his mind.
That's right. Is hypothermia kicking in?
Possibly.
Who knows?
Possibly. But you know what? The tilt of the wings, and I see he's got me in his sights, and it's all going to be fine.
So that's just one of many films or pieces of advice that Bjorn and I have for you if you tune in to Cabin
Join
Country.
us on Cabin Country for more safety tips in the great outdoors. Remember that if you decide to join us, we'll keep that coffee pot hot and ready. As long as you got a cup, we're there for you. So we'll see you next time on Cabin Country with several more safety tips. quick word for our viewers. We haven't all just joined the St. Paul Vulcans.
Oh, no, we haven't.
And hats off to the Vulcans. Winter Carnival about to start here. But we have not made that leap. I don't know if we'd actually be accepted, but that's another story.
I don't know.
There's a reason for these goggles, Fudd. Help
There
us out.
is. We've got a jitterbug from Yogi's box that's kind of covered in mold. And I asked Steve Hearn, excuse me, what to do about that. Do you soak it in vinegar or dab a little bleach on there? No, you don't do
Hydrogen
that.
peroxide.
He said, well, do you have a heat gun? If you don't have a heat gun, a hair dryer will do. Turn it on hot, and he said it makes it good as new. So Bjorn and I are going to try to brush some of this off, and Yogi's going to turn on the hot air dryer here, and we're going to see if this actually works. So are you guys ready?
I think we're ready.
Let the test begin.
Let's go for it.
Here we go.
I'm going off the country, baby, don't you wanna shake? I'm going off the country, baby, don't you wanna shake? I'm gonna shake someplace that I've never had a shake. I'm going to the water tastes like foam. I'm gonna go to a place and
Well,
shave.
it actually
incredible.
works.
Wow.
Worked like a charm. That is a brand new looking lure.
$6 now.
Oh, I'm gonna go 10. That's
Wow.
worth $10 if anything.
That is amazing, though.
Can I brush my teeth with this?
Yeah, you can have that.
Oh,
Once you get ones that say Cabin Country on them.
Cabin
sometime.
Country, the new Cabin Country toothbrush
Wow.
for all your dental needs.
You guys will probably be marketing those in a couple weeks, I would imagine.
maybe.
Get Don on the stick here. Maybe you could be the first to own a Cabin Country toothbrush.
Right.
Brush that
Of
coffee
course, how much are
funk.
we going to charge? $5.
$5. $5.
$5. We'll just-
Absolutely.
that'll be our
Look
merch.
at this. Look at this
That's amazing.
jitterbug. It is a totally new lure.
It kind of went from being just a plain lure to alluring.
That is alluring, as you say. The frog is back. That's
Excellent.
a beaut, man. That got rid of the mold. You're back in business. And I don't know that mold is a real attractant to a lot of fish, so I'm
I
going to
would
guess
say
now
not.
that perhaps this is
I would say not.
much more angler worthy. That's
Fabulous.
cool. That's a beautiful thing.
It is.
Without a doubt.
Well, excellent. Well,
That's good stuff.
thanks a lot, Yogi,
A
for
new technique learned.
letting us peer into the treasure box, your tackle box.
Amen.
My pleasure.
And
It was a great time being here with you guys.
use the
A lot of fun. A lot of fun.
Rapala here as a not the Rapala, the jitterbug as a
Right.
guinea pig for the Steve O'Hearn
Fred
recommended
Arbogast.
method of cleaning. Another fun evening.
Without a doubt.
Forgetting about the snow up to our necks for just a little while, and looking forward to summer days when we can try the newly cleaned jitterbug.
That's right.
Not to mention the Rebel and others.
Pull out of Lake Jane or pull out of the Gull River. What might be hanging on one of those treble hooks?
That's right.
And hopefully the snow melts before it gets moldy again.
Correct. Correct. Correct.
I don't
Indeed.
know the way this winter's going, but that's all right.
Still be inside looking for other tackle boxes somewhere mid-July. Well, there's only
gosh.
3 feet of snow now.
Right.
Hey, is there more coffee? Boy, am I ready
Right.
to get outside. Yeah.
Dreaming of warmer days when the ice is
Correct.
gone and
Correct.
leaves are starting to come back on the trees.
Without a doubt.
Fish are biting, so
Return of the mosquitoes.
yeah. I know on the days like this we're thinking, oh, they're not so bad. are
come on. What's
But,
the big
they?
deal?
Oh,
Mid-June. All right.
excellent.
Thanks again
We'll
for
see you
joining
next
us.
time
We'll
on
see you next
Cabin
time.
Country. Thanks, Yogi.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me. It
Absolutely.
was a great time.
We'll start a new pot of coffee.
All right.